Hello, hello. Can everyone hear me?
Hi, good day.
Hey,
Hi,
good day.
Mr. Thurton. How are you?
I'm well. I don't think you can see me though, right?
No, your screen just went blank. Yes.
How about now? Oh, never mind. Hold on a second. Hello, good people. I can't see you guys. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Julia,
Yes, sir.
are we recording already?
Yes, we are.
We're beginning at 8 p.m. I mean 6 p.m. or
It's 6 p.m. I'm sorry. I'm on the call by myself, and I was trying to set up the YouTube stream as well. Normally when we do that, it's two people operating it. So I just wanted to see if I'd be able to do it. That's all.
okay. I'm just gonna mute my mic for 1 minute then, just until we close the time. Okay.
I'm going to mute with you, Mr. McDonald.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Said I'm going to mute with you.
Okay. Great.
Sean, you're a new member?
Yes, I am.
Welcome to the team.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
It's good having you, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Julia, how many new members did we get on the team? Oh, go take care of your business.
Oh, no, I'm here. SLAC had, Mr. McDonald is a community resident, Mr. Thurton. So is this your second or third meeting, Mr. McDonald?
First meeting.
It's your first meeting.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, 2 more consecutive and you earn voting rights on your 4th one.
Well, because you know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an actual member of the community board. I'm the gentleman that you guys are going to be interviewing.
Oh, okay. What establishment?
BK Lobster, Ben Holdings and Acquisitions. Ben Holdings.
Okay, awesome. You guys are chained now. Congratulations.
Yeah, but I certainly can be an honorary member of the community. I would love to.
We've had other proprietors that have been members of the SLAC committee, so it's not unheard of.
Okay, well, hey, there's always room. So you can see, it seems like you guys are welcome me open arms.
Well, you're a chain. Congratulations. You guys are finally coming back to the 8 side. You opened up in board 3 instead. So
well, hey, we're making our way around. You got to crawl before you walk. So,
yes.
We're excited. We're happy to be over here. But give me 1 second. I know we got like 6 minutes, so I'll just make a quick call real quick.
No problem.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Miss Young. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How's your? Yeah. I'm doing well, thanks.
I'm glad to hear that.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, James.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, James. How you doing? All right.
We'll just wait here patiently as we wait for others to join and confirm that we have a quorum to get started. And so in the meantime, I will, to encourage my committee members to take a look at the forms and materials that were supplied in advance. Hey, Sean, while we're waiting and getting ready, I noticed that your, hold on, let me just double check what I'm looking for. Were you able to submit any floor plans or any menus?
I believe my representation emailed you over all the necessary documentation. Would have come from Andrew.
Yeah, we've got a packet, I believe, that was about 33 pages, but I don't remember seeing any floor plans or any sample menus.
If they didn't send it, I can send you over a copy real quick, if anything.
Is there a way you could potentially share it in the chat?
Fortunately, I'm using my iPad, so I don't have the ability to do it from here.
Okay.
Mr. Ellis, the representative from Resonator stated that the build out is currently underway and that's why floor plans are not available. Final floor plans aren't available.
Correct.
Oh, thank you.
Correct.
But Mr. McDonald, if you have any drafts or anything.
I have a draft. It's not finalized yet, but it's a draft. I can send you a quick copy of a draft if you'd like. If you provide me with the address or whoever's address, I can just send you a quick.
It's brooklyncb8@gmail.com. Spell out Brooklyn CB8 just like Community Board 8@gmail.com.
Brooklyn CP8.
CB8@gmail.com. Yep.
8@gmail.com. Give me one.
And as soon as I get the email, Mr. Ellis, I will send it over to the Google group.
Give me 1 second.
I see a couple people are joining us by phone, and it only indicates their phone number. Could I just get maybe a hello from the 201 number ending in 55 and just let us know who you are?
Good evening, James. It's Robert Puka.
Hi, Mr. Puka. Thank you for joining us and identifying. How about the number that starts with 917 and ends with 44?
Okay. I just sent it. You should have received it, hopefully, by now.
Great. Thank you, Mr. McDonald.
My pleasure. Give me 1 second. Let me just mute my phone here.
Great. Yeah, for those of you, if you could just go ahead and mute yourselves unless you're speaking, just to help prevent any feedback and any difficulties in audio. I'm still looking to identify who the 917 number is ending in 44.
That's mine, Sean. It's not me.
Okay. Just guys, let you know. I was just going to give you a heads up. We have a special guest on the call as well. We have the CEO with the man with the vision behind this franchise. His name is Mr. Rodney Bond, so he's joining us as well. So he's down.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. We will check in with you when it's your time to hear your application.
Well,
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And now I see another phone number that starts with 718 and ends with 96.
That's Joel Clacken from Suite 704 Restaurant. I was trying to connect online, but for some reason I'm not able to connect, so I had to call in.
All right. Well, sorry about the difficulties, but I will say that we don't have any of your paperwork.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. I was going to ask him if they can quickly email it to us.
Okay, I'll definitely send that over to you. Our representative told us that it was already sent in, but I can forward that over as well.
You should request your fees back because they didn't send it.
Wow, I do apologize. I'll have that sent over shortly.
I see Mr. Witherwax has joined us as our co-chair of the committee. Just want to acknowledge his arrival as well as CB8 staff member Julia Neal is with us as a part of our committee proceedings. There are other committee members with us, and it looks like there might be a few applicants. I imagine there might be a community member or two, but we will just want to identify and say, Lieutenant Eric Delman is here. Mr. Delman, can you identify yourself? Lieutenant Delman, are you there?
Yeah. Okay. Coming.
Hello?
Hi there.
Hello, this is Police Officer Vidal from the 77 Precinct.
Oh, great.
For the SLA meeting.
Great. Thank you, officer. Thanks for joining us. We'll feel free to, as we review the applications that are in the 77th precinct that might have any issues that need to be brought to our attention, either in past operations or in current locations. And we will go through those applications one at a time and ask if you have anything to say about those when the time comes.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Good evening, all.
Hi, Ms. Collins. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Mr.
Mr. Ellis, aside from muting and unmuting participants, would you like me to assist with any other things on tonight's meeting?
As long as I guess we're getting appropriate documentation.
I went through the email on Friday. I only had the two applications from Cheryl's and BK Lobster. And today I sent emails to anyone else that I couldn't find. I'm actually surprised Bar 704 is on this call tonight, since they did need a 30-day waiver as their license actually expired at the end of September. But they were invited. I did ask them to please send the info sheet. I don't have it, but I mean, hey, to each their own.
So can you just remind us, while we're still waiting to reach quorum, what that 30-day waiver means and what kind of impacts it might have to today's? Do we need to hold it over till next month?
That basically the 30-day waiver is if their license is going to expire 30 days prior to the hearing and the board being able to send a letter of recommendation, and also for them to apply for their renewal license. Usually the State Liquor Authority sends out renewal paperwork 60 to 90 days in advance. I understand that the COVID pandemic is causing a delay in some of that. Some applicants have not been able to get their 30-day notices to us within 30 days prior to the expiration of the license. Usually the CB8 will provide a one-time waiver for the 30-day notification period to an applicant, one time for the lifetime of the business. Bar 704 was given that waiver, and that's it. Their license, they should have been able to get their renewal license either today being Monday or last week Friday or something, since it expired September 30th.
Okay. So we're okay to proceed as normal once we receive if and when we receive their paperwork.
That's correct. Yes.
Zing, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Janelle Daniel, representative of Creative Square Studios BK. I didn't want to interrupt while you guys were speaking. We currently applied for renewal as well.
All right, Ms. Daniel, we don't have any of your paperwork either. So if you don't have any paperwork, we can't hear your application today.
Okay, the attorney John.
Email it to us. As I've only gotten 3 applications via email. I do not have anything for you guys. I know you're on Pacific Street. If you can email us the info form, I can send it to the committee really quickly.
May I have the email, please? The attorney, John Springer, mentioned that he did send all appropriate paperwork, so.
I have your 30-day notice. That's it. I don't have your info sheet.
Okay.
PlaceDB8@gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
I also just.
I'm sorry.
Miss Ellis. No, I was just saying. This is Joel Clacken. I was just telling you that I did send over the application via email about 5 minutes ago.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right. Looks like from a rough count, it looks like we have enough committee members to meet quorum. I will, out of respect, ask those that are available to please start your video as a committee member, out of respect to the applicants and to the audience, to make ourselves visible. Additionally, I would ask, as a part of housekeeping, to please keep your microphones muted unless there is a case for you to be called upon to speak or share any concerns. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Mr. Witherwax, would you like to call the official roll?
It'd be my pleasure. Wayne Bailey said he'd be about a half hour late. Hill Branch Muhammad.
Sorry, Mr. Witherwax, I think we have an updated roster that starts with...
No, I have it. It's just not alphabetized. Give me 1 moment.
Okay, no problem. Sorry to interrupt.
Here.
Mr. Allison, I apologize. Bear with me.
Did you hear me, Rob?
I did, Gail. Thank you.
Okay.
Kiermany Allison.
I see Mr. Allison. I didn't hear him.
Yep.
All right.
Mr. Wayne Bailey, Mr. Branch Muhammad, Janet Collins.
Present.
Miss Diane Duke. Mr. James Ellis.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Fred Frazier. Mr. Oliver Hart has been excused. Mr. Roger Myers. Mr. Robert Puka.
Once again, if I can ask people to mute their phones if they're not speaking, there's too much back noise. Thank you.
Brian Saunders.
Present.
Mr. Meredith Staten. Mr. Mark Thurton.
Here.
Thank you. Miss Ethel Tyus.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Gib Vaconi.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Ursa Weatherspoon.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Robert Witherwax, present. Ms. Deborah Young.
Present.
Thank you. We have 10 members present out of 18. We have a quorum.
We only have 10. I counted 12. Mr. Puka, Mr. Saunders, Mr. Thurton.
Was Puka here?
Yes, he was.
I'm here.
I hear you now, Rob. So I then have 11.
And what about Miss Weatherspoon?
I got her. I got Mr. Allison, Miss Branch Muhammad, Miss Collins, Mr. Ellis, Mr. Puka, Mr. Saunders, Mr. Thurton, Miss Tyus, Mr. Vaconi, Miss Weatherspoon, Mr. Witherwax, Miss Young. That is indeed 12. Why is that? Oh, there it is. I figured it out. Error in my spreadsheet.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Witherwax. We do have a quorum. I'd like to welcome our newest member to the committee, Mr. Kiermany Allison. Thank you for joining Community Board 8 and dedicating to our community your efforts and interest in our neighborhood, especially when it comes to the issuance of liquor license and sidewalk cafes. So thank you for joining us, Mr. Allison. We look forward to having you on this committee. I don't think your audio is working, Mr. Allison. Just as a heads up. It doesn't show muted, but I don't hear anything, so. All right. In any case, thank you for joining, everybody. I want to just do a quick check-in to see which of our agenda items are present. So if you are a applicant that is assuming to have business before us today, please acknowledge your presence when I call your address. 154 Utica. Ms. Daniel, 154 Utica. She might have left. We'll see. 236 Underhill. 1662 Atlantic Avenue. Okay, 704 Nostrand.
Present.
628 Nostrand. 444 Ralph. 634 Vanderbilt.
Did you mean 643 Vanderbilt?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. We had a
Present.
transposition error in that address. Thank you for that clarity. Is there any other members in this call today that are expecting to be presenting an application that did not make our agenda? All right, then. Hearing or seeing no other additions or corrections to our agenda, I'd like to officially get started. I guess, I don't know, Mr. Widowack. So we have some people that are here that we don't have paperwork for. We have some paperwork that people are not here. Do you want to make a suggestion on how we proceed?
Well, who's here and has paperwork?
We have partial paperwork for the new applicant at 643 Vanderbilt.
Let's do that. They at least did both.
Very well then. Thank you for your suggestion. I'm checking on.
Can we, just for the sake of expediency, since some of the renewals are actually open, can we just dispatch of the renewals first? Essence is here. Their paperwork was submitted.
Essence is on the call?
Yes.
I asked for them to acknowledge themselves. I didn't hear anybody respond.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, Mr. Baez? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I didn't hear you respond. So why don't
I'm sorry.
We'll
It's
proceed.
the first time I'm doing this.
Well, welcome. I think it's many of our first times in trying to conduct community board business via teleconference. So thank you for your patience. We think we have a methodology to get us through this. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started for the renewal. Mr. Baez, in the application, it says that the principal is Kenneth Morrison. What's your relationship?
Manager.
You're the manager?
Yes.
Great. All right. Let me go ahead and read your renewal application for the information of the rest of our participants and community members that may not be able to follow along with any attachments. I ask that Ms. Collins and Mr. Baez please mute themselves so we can have a clear channel for communication.
Sorry, I was just going to ask the address of this.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Collins, this is 1662 66 Atlantic Avenue. It's, I believe, at Atlantic and Troy, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Baez, you want to nod your head in confirmation? Thank you. All right. So this application is Essence Bar, address at 1662 Atlantic Avenue, been operational for 18 years as a restaurant and bar with a full license serving liquor, wine, beer, and cider. There are 12 tables and 2 seats at each table, 1 bar with 20 seats. So a total capacity of 60. Hours of operation have been Sunday, 2 p.m. to 2 a.m., Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, noon to 2 a.m., Friday, noon to 3 a.m., Saturday, 2 p.m. to 3 a.m. Outdoor service area includes a rear yard that is 23 by 23 feet. We don't have any information on this application about their seating capacity, nor do we have a diagram. Why don't I take a pause there and ask Mr. Baez to tell us about the seating capacity in the rear yard?
It's about 4 tables outside and 4 chairs per table.
Is that under current circumstances, or has that also been historically the size?
It's the same size.
So no changes were made due to outdoor restrictions?
No changes, no.
All right, thank you for that clarity. Moving along on the application, there has no other outdoor space. Sound system includes 2 speakers indoors. Occasional live music is offered. 3 service employees with security cameras. 3 residences in the building where the establishment is located, 2 residences to the left, right, and rear. No operational changes since the last review of this application. No operational changes planned to be implemented before the next renewal period. Mr. Bias, can you maybe just share before I open up to any questions or comments from the community, any of the steps that your establishment has taken to deal with the indoor and outdoor dining restrictions?
Right now, we just have outdoor, no indoor. I'm not doing indoor, so figured I'd wait until they at least do capacity of 50. So we've been just doing takeout and outdoor.
Great. Are you guys indulging in any delivery services?
Yes, takeout, Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub.
Okay, great. Thank you for that update. And can you also tell us your outdoor dining hours?
It's from 12 until 11.
12 p.m. to 11
p.m.
Great. All right. Are there any questions or comments about the renewal of this application from our community members? If there are any community members on this teleconference? Mr. Bias, will you mind muting again? Thank you.
Yes.
Any questions or comments from our committee members about the renewal application being presented?
Question.
Hi, Mr. Thurton, please go ahead.
With your establishment, how have you been making out with the COVID-19? Because I passed by there and I see no activities in the front. I guess you're doing all your services in the rear yard, and how is that working out?
Well, I hate to say it, but thank God for Grubhub and takeout, because that pretty much saved me. Because that's all I was doing from the very beginning. But I guess because I've been doing it for a while, I built up a clientele with that. So that pretty much is holding me off. The landlord is very reasonable. So that's been the biggest thing. The outdoor, people really don't know we have an outdoor, but I have a large following of the police department. So I get a lot of regular customers that come out from that. So that's great. They're great supporters. Right?
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that you've been able to sustain yourself. As a small straw poll, and by no means do you need to offer any information that might be privy, but were you able to work out any negotiations with your landlord for any rent arrestment during this period?
Yes, I still have to pay rent, but we knocked it down some.
All right. So, thank you. We're just trying, like I said, just a straw poll to get an idea of how some of our businesses are responding and working with their landlords. So thank you for sharing. All right. Any other questions from the committee members on the renewal of this application of Essence Bar at 1662 Atlantic? Mr. Bias, if you don't mind muting yourself. Thank you. All right. Hearing or seeing no other questions or comments, I ask for a motion from our committee members.
I recommend that we, I recommend that we vote on this application as presented. This is Irsa.
And I second Weatherspoon.
Ms. Weatherspoon, do you mind just clarifying your motion slightly? Instead of voting for this application, do you want to put a position?
You speaking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I propose that we accept.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Either a support or no support. No, I just heard you mentioned to vote on this application, and I wanted to know which way.
My apologies.
Mr. Witherwax, is that fine? Would you? All right. It looks like he's confirmed that, just slight clarity. So we have a motion from Ms. Weatherspoon to support the application as presented. Second by Mr. Witherwax. If there are any questions on this motion by committee members, please let us know now. All right. Hearing or seeing none, I ask Mr. Witherwax to call the roll, please, the vote.
All right. Start unmuting, everybody. Mr. Allison.
Can you give us a thumbs up, an indicator, because we can't hear you?
Great. Got it.
Thumbs up or thumbs down, no pressure.
Hey, are you here yet? Ms. Branch Mohammed?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Collins?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Duke? Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Frazier? Mr. Myers? Mr. Puka?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Staton? Mr. Thurton?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Tyus?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Vacconi?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Witherwax? Yes. Ms. Young?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes unanimously, 12 in favor.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Witherwax. Mr. Bays, thank you very much for coming today and presenting your renewal application. We wish you continued success during this new business landscape and hopefully won't have to see you for another 2 years. All right, moving on to our next renewal, I guess. Do we get more information? Let's see. I didn't see the, oh, here it is, revised. So, there we go, some plans. I want to double check on, did Ms. Daniels make it back yet for Creative Studios? Is Cheryl's Underhill Cheryl's on Underhill join us? And then I guess we're still waiting for paperwork from Bar 704.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ellis. Is there another place I could send the paperwork? So I did email it over, and it said that it went through.
All right. Ms.
Bar
Neal?
704 was forwarded to the committee.
Ah, yes, that's the one I'm looking at. Oh, no, that was BK Lobster.
That was the second one that I just sent about 5 minutes ago. Bar 704 was sent about 25, 30 minutes ago. I don't know, I'm sorry, about 20 minutes ago, sorry.
All right, unfortunately, I don't have it.
And I see why. It's not the information sheet. It is what they submit to the State Liquor Authority. Please disregard. It's not what we need.
So we're for Bar 704, I'm looking for the Community Board 8 renewal application.
Okay, just give me 1 second, and
I will put the link to the file in the chat, and any applicant that does not have their renewal form can download the file from our website. You can complete it and send it back to us.
Thank you, Ms. Neal. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and move on to the one new application here for 643 Vanderbilt. Once again, we're asking, just remind me who those applicants are that are here today. Just re-identify yourself, please.
John McDonald, Bennett Holdings and Acquisitions, LLC.
Sure, and you were joined by also the CEO, I think?
Mr. Rodney Bonds.
Right, great. Thank you, Mr. Bonds. Mr. McDonald, let me pull up your application that I just received.
Thank you very much. Just please verify that you received the bills that I sent as well.
I received a 13-page document. Hold on, it looks like I've got some architectural plans. Yep, there we go. These are the ones you said are the rough documents for now.
And also, I sent you a second email verifying that my representation was in context with someone, I guess, today, and they confirmed that they had the complete package. So if you look at the email thread, you should see everything pretty much in there.
Right. All right, so let me go ahead and read off your application for the benefit of our members as well as the community members that have joined us today. Let me get back to the screen so I can see myself do this. All right, so Mr. McDonald here is representing Bennett Holdings and Acquisitions LLC. proposal of an application doing business as BK Lobster at 643 Vanderbilt Avenue. This would be a restaurant bar seeking a wine, beer, and cider license, inclusive of 4 tables with 8 seats. So is that 4, 2 tops of 8?
2 per table, correct.
And is that would be your floor plan for the current landscape, or as it might be proposed if restrictions and higher capacities were allowed?
Correct. The current plans as if restrictions were allowed. We're predominantly going to focus more on takeout. Also, we're going to, do dining as well, but we're anticipating that this may, carry on a little bit longer than expected. So we're preparing for that, as well.
So the reason why I'm asking Mr. McDonald is that if whatever gets presented on this application and then forwarded to the SLA for approvals would be limited. And so your limitations, regardless if restrictions are lifted, would be to 8 people indoors. And that's what I just want to make sure that you're comfortable that that's the way this is moving along.
Yeah, that's fine. Correct.
All right, thank you. There is also inclusive of 1 bar area, service area with 0 seats. Maximum patron capacity would be 28. Proposed hours of operations are Sunday from noon to 8 p.m., Monday closed for service, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, noon to 10 p.m., Friday and Saturday, noon to 11 p.m. Once again, I'm going to ask you, Mr. McDonald, would this be your hours as proposed for this current business landscape? Or if things were to change, would you be interested or seeking to extend your hours of operation?
No, this is going to be confirmed. These are the business hours that we're going to conduct.
Thank you very much. No outdoor space indicated on the application. 1 iPod-driven music program with 2 speakers. No live entertainment to be offered. 3 or 4 service employees. There has been expressed interest to participate in the Community Board 8 local hiring program, of which we can forward more information from the board office, but we are in partnership with a local hiring program out of the Bed-Stuy Restoration Corporation. 0 security anticipated. Other security measures includes 24/7 surveillance cameras within the interior and exterior of the establishment. 2 residences in this building where the location is located. To the right are 6, left is 2, and the rear is 6. All right, I think then we saw some drafts in their package that included some signatures of support from local businesses nearby. I think in looking through those, many of them are on the Vanderbilt commercial corridor. There were a few other names. I imagine they were other businesses but weren't familiar with those names. But were there any residential support letters that your team received?
I believe we had a couple in there. I can pull it up in front of me. I think we had a couple of residents.
All right. And then at one point of clarity, Mr. McDonald, was any of those signatures from the real estate office of Mr. Saunders and others, were they your representing broker or your landlord or management?
No, my representing landlord is Mr. Ron McLaren.
Okay.
Same company.
Yeah, Ron McLaren. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to clarify, sometimes with letters of support from your real estate agent or management companies, they have a vested interest. So we just have to take that into consideration as a support letter.
Yeah. Well, sure.
Thank you. All right. I want to just double check. All right. I'd open up this to any questions or comments from our community members. If there is a question or comment for this application for BK Lobster at 643 Vanderbilt. Mr. McDonald, real quick, what's the cross streets on Vanderbilt where you're looking?
Prospect and St. Mark's.
Prospect and St. Mark's. Okay. Great.
James, I have a question.
I'm sorry, who's that asking?
I'm sorry, Irsa.
Oh, hi, Ms. Weatherspoon. Just one second. Any questions from community members? All right, hearing or seeing none, I'll open it up to to the committee and start with Ms. Weatherspoon.
Yes. Do you have another location on Nostrand Avenue?
Yes, we do.
Are you the same?
That's our flagship store.
Okay.
That's
You
our
have any other locations?
Yes, we do. We have another location on Myrtle Avenue, Clinton Hills area, as well.
How long have you guys been in operation on Myrtle Avenue?
We're fairly new. I believe Myrtle Avenue, we opened that establishment back in May of 2020. May, so roughly 6 or 7 months ago, give or take.
How's that working out for you?
Going great. We're being welcomed with open arms, pretty much in all the locations we've been in, and I haven't had the opportunity to tell you how excited we are to be in Prospect Heights. We're all Brooklynites. We love Brooklyn, so that's the motivating drive behind this, is that we're all from Brooklyn, myself included, obviously. We love, just being in our entire neighborhood, basically, just bringing a service that we enjoy doing and we expect the people to love and put a smile on everyone's face. So that's what we, hoping to do, and that's what we've done thus far, and we look to continue doing that as well.
Great. Question about your other locations, if I may, just to piggyback on Ms. Weatherspoon's. Those other locations are also doing wine, beer, and cider service?
No, only the Nostrand Avenue services doing alcohol.
So this would be your second location with alcohol service?
Correct.
And you have a total of 3, right? Just to clear that 5?
Correct.
So this would be your third, sorry.
Correct.
Great, thank you. Any other questions from our committee members? Mr. Whitfax, and then Mr. Vicconi.
I'm just a little confused because the name is misleading. What kind of cuisine do you sell?
We specialize in casual seafood. So what we're known for is our lobster rolls, but we also offer an entree of different seafood dishes, as well as salmon, as well as crab legs. So we offer a variety of different dishes as well. Excuse me.
Right.
And to be clear, the lobster is not caught in Brooklyn.
So we're going to show you that. We look forward to definitely seeing all of you guys there and putting a smile on as well as others as well. So hopefully you're seafood lovers. I mean, most people are, but hopefully you guys are.
All right, Mr. Vicconi.
Mr. Witherwax asked one of my questions. My other question is maybe a little bit more open-ended, which is, it's really interesting and kind of admirable to see folks opening restaurants. Not an easy time for the restaurant business at all right now, and to hear of someone who's opened 2 restaurants during the lockdown is really pretty impressive. I mean, can you just maybe talk a little bit about what strategy is there and how you've been able to open up multiple, or how you're planning to be successful with multiple food service establishments opening when established ones are actually having a lot of difficulty right now?
It's the support. It really comes from the support. I mean, I think we're all driven individuals. We, very competitive. We love what we do, and it just kind of shows. It reflects in the service that we provide. So I think that's kind of where it stems from. I think offering something that's a bit unique and a little different that most people are not, haven't seen it, with the exception of going to such as a larger chain, such as a Red Lobster. We're offering more of a casual, fast, you don't have to sit down and do a full service dining. We're offering the same services, but at a faster scale. So,
no, I understand that. I guess what I was getting at is, well, let's take your Myrtle Avenue look. How has that going, from an operating point of view, given the pandemic? I guess what you're saying is you're expecting a lot of your plan anticipates a lot of takeout business, and takeout business is not affected by the pandemic in the same way.
We opened in the heart of the pandemic, if you so to speak.
Right.
And we've done exceptionally well. And this applies also to our other locations as well. Obviously by the grace of God, of course, we all our blessings to that. We've been very successful in terms of the target, in terms of the service that we offer. We don't primarily focus on a sit down, so we offer casual food to go. So it's not.
Okay. Right. Makes sense. I wish you luck, and I look forward to trying your food.
We look forward to servicing you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Vicconi. Any other questions or comments from our committee members?
Yes, I have a question.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, yes. Can you just identify yourself?
Miss Collins?
Oh, hi, Ms. Collins.
Hi. I think I missed it at the towards the beginning. Did you notify Ms. McDonald, the residents in the area? I thought I just heard that the realtors were notified, or you got letters of approval.
Yeah, there was some support letters in there. Ms. Collins,
get-
let me just add some clarity there. There was in the package, there was a series of support letters, many of which were local businesses. Mr. McDonald had mentioned that some of the other names on that list were also local neighborhood residents. And if you notice also in that package, there are photographs of the postings, the public postings of this meeting that this restaurant was seeking a particular license for this service.
Okay, I just didn't hear that said. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. No problem. Any other questions from our committee members? Hearing or seeing no other questions, I respectfully ask for a motion from our members.
Motion to support the application as presented.
I second.
Can the person who just second, oh, is that Ms. Young?
Yes, it is.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Vicconi to support the application as presented, seconded by Ms. Deborah Young. Any questions on this motion? Hearing or seeing none, I'll ask Mr. Weatherwax to call the vote, please.
All right, unmute everybody. Thumbs up if you can. Mr. Bailey, are you here? Ms. Branch Mohammed. Sorry, Gail, was that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Collins.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Duke. Mr. Ellis.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Myers. Mr. Puka.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders.
Yes.
Mr. Staten. Mr. Thurton.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Tyus.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Vicconi.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Witherwax, yes. Ms. Young.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes 12 in favor.
Mr. Witherwax, did you get a vote from Mr. Allison?
I thought I saw a thumbs up.
All right, I missed that. I was getting my paperwork together. Thank you. All right, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Witherwax. It looks like I just want to do another double check to see if any other applicants have joined us. Let me see. Is there anyone here from 628 Nostrand Avenue? 444 Ralph Avenue? 154 Utica? 236 Underhill? 704 Nostrand.
704 Nostrand is still here.
All right, were you able to send over any paperwork?
This is definitely my first time doing this. Just to clarify, the paperwork that you are looking for is the one that says standard notice form for providing 30-day advance notice to community.
No, sir.
No. We need the information sheet, which is the link that I put into the chat about 15 minutes ago.
It's on the Community Board 8 website. It's the renewal application. Application for renewal, I think is maybe what it's titled.
Okay, I'll definitely get on that. Is it possible for me to reschedule for tomorrow?
But we don't convene but once a month.
To get this.
We unfortunately only convene this month, and we will not be convening again until November.
Okay, I'll try to get this in. I just have to locate it. I'll try to get this in before we're finished today.
Okay, we're getting toward the end, so that's why we're doing a last call. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of time here. I defer to any of the members of the committee if there's any alternatives that they potentially would propose in this situation.
And I do apologize, everyone. I was told by Mrs. Springer that everything was submitted, but I guess unfortunately that wasn't the case.
Is this a standard renewal that we're looking at?
Mr. Witherwax is shaking his head. Would you like to clarify?
Isn't this the 30-day renewal? They missed their target. So we need to, correct me if I'm wrong, James, right?
Right. I think they did miss their 30-day notification, which evidently I think it was offered to grant them the one-time waiver for the lifetime of the establishment. But we still need materials to be able to work off of to make our decision.
Mr. Ellis, our notice was sent in before the 30 days. We do have email confirmation from the post office that they try to deliver the packages to the CBA, and this is the reason why we were granted the waiver. But this was done. I have the date here that it was sent in, according to the post office.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
well,
this
that
was done on August 27th.
Okay. Well, that would certainly help clarify that circumstance with the notification to the community board. However, we're kind of in a kind of a jam because we don't have any materials to work off of or what you're presenting for renewal. Yeah, so why don't you take a moment, let us move on and deal with another application. It might give us like 5 minutes for you to put something together, and maybe we can go through this in tandem and work live unless somebody has any issues. So
sure, no problem.
That's a good question. Ms. Tyus, our chairwoman, is here also as a member of the committee and suggested that maybe if he can complete the application or has a copy of the application and he could present from his screen, maybe the CB office allows him to present from the screen, we would be able to vet that. But that would require him having that paperwork ready to go and present. So I will defer in a second, but let's go ahead and entertain Cheryl's, since we do have their paperwork and they are a longtime business in Prospect Heights. We can at least move through their renewal application despite the fact that there's no representative present. So with that being said, I would like to read this application for review for the benefit of our committee and our community. Ms. Cheryl Smith is the principal presenting a renewal application for Go Sky Com Inc., doing business as Cheryl's Global Soul Restaurant at 236 Underhill Avenue. Their current hours of operations are 12 to 8 p.m. as a restaurant bar. Unfortunately, it doesn't indicate their license type. Does anyone recall if they're a full license or a beer and wine license?
Hold on.
They are full. They're full.
I'm pretty sure Cheryl's is a full liquor license.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
And that a benefit of those who are the full license includes liquor, beer, wine, and cider. There are 14 tables with 32 seats, but currently there are 6 tables with 12 seats, 1 bar with 4 seats. Maximum interior capacity is 32, but currently is 14 due to restrictions. Their hours of operation on the application are noon. Oh, wait, let me rephrase that. Sunday appears to be 10 to 8 p.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is noon to 8 p.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Maybe, Mr. Witherwax, if you have that at your disposal, would you be able to share what their previous operation hours might have been?
I don't, but I suspect that Cheryl has put in her pandemic hours with this because they generally stay open later.
I just want to make sure that we're not voting on something that might pigeonhole them into being only till 8 p.m. if they were to choose differently.
Yeah, I don't have a prior record of a prior renewal, but I'm sure they were open later.
Give me 2 minutes, and I'll see if I can't find their 2018 renewal.
Thank you, Ms. Neal. As we look into that, just so we can make a careful and appropriate recommendation as needed, we will carry on. They also have an outdoor garden space. that looks to be 18 feet by 30 feet, currently with 9 tables and 30 seats. I think it previously 9 tables with 30 seats, but currently operating with 5 tables and 15 seats. That hours of operation are the same as the business hours, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, noon to 8 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There are 3 speakers in the dining room at 60 watts, no live entertainment being presented, 14 service employees. In normal times, currently 6. No residences in the building, no residences to the left, right, rear. And currently operational changes have been reductions on staff hours due to COVID protocols. Any operational changes planned in the upcoming year is rebuilding the business back. All right. As we wait for our esteemed staff member at the board office to pull up some archive records, I want to ask.
It's been sent to the committee, but I have their 2018 open. If you wanted me to read it, I can try to share the
Would
screen.
you mind sharing their historical hours of operations for us?
Sure. Okay. So this is their application from 2018. 14 tables with 32 seats, no bar space at all. Closing at 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. They do have a garden space, 18 by 20 feet with 9 tables and 24 seats. Maximum patron capacity, 28. The outdoor space stays open, same hours as indoor space. And that is it. So 2 hours additional are their non-pandemic hours till 10 and 11.
Thank you for that clarity. I appreciate it, Ms. Neal.
No
Any questions from the community members about this renewal application? Any questions or comments from our committee members on this renewal application? Mr. Piccone?
My advice would be for us to vote on this as presented with a further clarification that we recommend the full board approve the prior hours of operation if the applicant updates their application prior to the full board meeting. If you like, I could take another crack at that in the form of a motion, but I think I don't know that we can approve, so I don't know that we can recommend something other than what was presented, but I think we should say something leaving open the possibility of approving the previous hours if they want to provide an updated application for the general meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Tony. I will wait and I'll ask you to make said motion as you offered. Just to let me check with anybody else if any questions or comments. Any other committee members with questions or comments?
Second on a motion.
Hold on, Mr. Saunders. He hasn't officially made it yet, but I'm happy to know that you're in support. Any other committee members with questions or comments? All right, Mr. Piccone, would you like to make another stab at what you're suggesting?
Sure. I'd like to move that the committee support the application for renewal as presented and that it recommend the board office advise the applicant to present an updated application matching the prior hours, which the committee further recommends the full board approve if presented.
I understand that. Is there someone who wants a second and understands that?
I'll second that.
All right. A little bit unique and timely for the specific circumstances, but does any of our committee members have questions on the motion Mr. Piccone has made? No indications of any questions or comments. I'll ask Mr. Witherwax to call the vote, please.
Mr. Ellison. Thank you. Mr. Bailey. Ms. Gail Branch Muhammad.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Collins.
No.
Thank you. Ms. Duke. Mr. Ellis.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Puka.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders. Thank you. Mr. Thurton. Mr. Thurton?
Mr. Thurton?
Thank you. Ms. Tyus?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Vicconi?
Yes.
Witherspoon?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Witherwax, yes. Ms. Young?
Yes.
This is 11 in favor, 1 opposed.
Thank you. I received a message in the chat that the email was sent to this applicant requesting an updated form with pre-COVID information if necessary. So thank you for that, Ms. Neal. Thank you all for these applications with us. I'm just going to refer back to our friends at 704 Nostrand to see if they were able to complete the application so their renewal can be heard.
I am currently working on completing the application. It may take me a little bit longer.
Question.
So I'll definitely have this completed tonight and sent over to you guys. I'm not sure.
Are we able to review the application as a renewal and they submit paperwork? I mean, tomorrow before the next community board meeting?
We could certainly, I mean, as a committee, we can make any adjustments to conduct business as we see appropriate. I just want to, if we want to have the applicant answer these questions orally, we can do so, but then we would want them to submit their paperwork that would correspond to what was given to us tonight to inform our decision. It sounds like the applicant can produce that information and have it sent to the office by tomorrow. But I will ask any comments from our committee members and their comfort level in doing it in this manner at this time. Anybody have any issues or concerns about having this applicant present their renewal information as part of an oral submission?
Will it be documented orally?
Well, this meeting is being, it's presented live, so it's being recorded and documented. It'll be documented in the meeting minutes as well.
So how do we know that the paperwork is going to reflect what was said tonight?
Well, I can make the suggestion that any motion made would be contingent on submitting paperwork in advance of the full board meeting for ratification of any action items suggested out of this committee.
Thank you.
I'm good with it.
I support your recommendation, Chairman Ellis.
Thank you, Ms. Tyus.
I also support.
Thank you. All right. So I will also just clarify, because this was a 30-day, it was on the verge of a 30-day waiver, that their renewal has probably already been made at the state level, but in efforts for us to do our due diligence and to review applications as a body, and we will certainly hear this information currently and may able to make any decisions based on this through an oral presentation and submitting our recommendations to the state based on the full board supporting any of our action items today. So let me ask the applicant to present themselves again. Where are you?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joel Clacken. I am the manager for Suite 704.
All right, Joel. So let me go through this with you real quick. I'm going to ask my co-chair also to help me keep some documentation. I'm sure the board office is also keeping some notes. But let me go ahead and go through some of these renewal questions that we're usually interested in this circumstance. So remind us the name of your establishment and the address.
The address is 704 Nostrand Avenue. The name is Rain Entertainment LLC, DBA 704 Bar.
And the cross streets?
The cross street is Prospect Place and St. Mark's.
Okay. Your current hours of operation as previously approved?
The current hours that's previously approved is that we
My apologies. Sorry for the interruption. How long is this establishment? I'm looking at the wrong question. How long has this establishment been in operation?
Since December 2018. That's when we officially opened our doors.
Great. And this establishment is what category? A restaurant bar, a nightclub, or a catering hall?
It would be restaurant bar. Full service menu, full kitchen.
And is this license seeking a beer and cider, beer, wine, and cider, or liquor, beer, wine, and cider?
Liquor, beer, wine, and cider.
Who is the principal on the license?
Atiba Stevenson.
Thank you.
Spell the first name, please.
A-T-I-B-A. B as in boy.
And last name is Stevenson. Is that with a V or a PH?
Stevenson with a V. V as in Victor.
Thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. Let's talk about your service area. What is your tables? How many tables and how many seats at those tables?
Currently, our certificate of occupancy is 70, and we do have 2 sides. So we have 5 tables on one side, which seats 5, and we have on the other side we have smaller tables. So we have 4 tables that seat 4, and then 3 tables that seat 2. So we're looking at about
that's 25 seats on one side. And 22 seats on the other side for a total of 47.
That's correct.
And what about your bar seating? How many bars and how many seats at the bar?
It's supposed to be 20 bar seating.
20 bar seats. Obviously, there's no bar service at this time, but just for our information. All right. So you said your C of O for capacity is 70.
70. We have 2 sides to our establishment, and each side is 70.
So you have a combined capacity of 140.
Yes, sir.
But seating for only 50 or 47. Or 60.
We have very bulky furnitures.
Okay. And
so it takes up a lot of the space.
All right.
It's the ambiance that we try to create.
Okay, thank you. And now your hours of operation that you're seeking approval for?
I believe the hours of operation that we had before was 11 a.m. During the week, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. And then on weekends, it was from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Mr. Witherwax, can you confirm that from a previous archives?
Give me a minute.
Thank you. While Mr. Witherwax is double checking that, when you mean during the week, can you be more specific in the days?
Monday through Friday.
So wait, Monday through Friday is till 2 a.m.?
Monday through Thursday is to 2 a.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is to 3 a.m.
All right. While I wait for Mr. Witherwax to confirm those previous hours, obviously operations mandated by the state at this time are till midnight.
Yes.
And 11, midnight for indoor and 11 for outdoors. Do you have any outdoor space?
Yes, we do. We have a rear yard.
A rear yard. And can you please tell me the table logistics for that rear yard as well as the hours of operation?
We currently have 12 tables in the rear yard that seats 4 people each. Obviously, with social distancing, we are only operating half of that. The rear yard is about 40 by 30 in size.
And just for our own edification, because you have 2 separate building spaces, is that the adjoinement of 2 separate rear yards?
Yes, sir. They're both connected. There's no barriers between. It's just 1 yard.
All right. Thank you for that.
So this is where I get a little confused here because I'm not as familiar with Nostrand Avenue as some of our committee members. 704 and 706 Nostrand Avenue.
We're actually 704 and 706A. So those are the 2 addresses that we occupy.
Is its own establishment?
I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat that one more time, please?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, Bob. This is Gail. Yes.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you. My notes don't have the A in it, so sometimes I look up this address and I get 706 and the establishment at 706. So I'm a little at cross purposes here. But no, those hours of operations match what we first heard in April of 2018, and we approved them.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Say that again. What
was 2018? We first heard this establishment, and we approved those hours of operations: 11 a.m. to 2, 11 a.m. to 3.
Great. Thank you for the edification there. All right. So just to back up, we do have confirmation on those hours as previously approved. The outdoor space is 48 seats at maximum capacity, but currently operating at 24. Those hours of operation for your rear yard, Mr. McClacken, can you please review those?
The rear yard is closed at 10 p.m.
10 p.m., 7 days a week?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, moving along. Your sound system, can you please just let us know what kind of sound system and music programming that you have?
Currently, we have background music. That's all that we're operating on now.
How many speakers?
There's 4 speakers inside.
You have speakers outside?
No, not currently.
Okay, that's usually not approved. That's why I expressed a little bit of a shock. So, all right, thank you. Any live entertainment being offered?
No live entertainment at the moment. I believe we are asking for it now due to the fact that, with COVID and we're trying to see whatever we can to try to maximize profit. But originally, no, we have no live entertainment. It was literally just recorded music.
Would you like to describe what live entertainment you're seeking to get approval for this application?
Probably just a disc jockey, a band maybe, and recorded music.
Okay. Moving on, your staffing program, how many service employees do you have employed?
Currently, we have 10 staff members. We have been able to keep them on even with the whole pandemic. We've been rotating and they've been very diligent and, staying with us through the thick and thin. But we currently have 10.
Great, thank you. Any security personnel?
Not at the moment, but originally, yes, we do have security personnel.
Okay, but during this new business landscape, you don't see the need for having that. Okay.
Exactly.
Any other security measures, cameras, et cetera?
We do have 12 cameras in the building and 1 out front and 1 in the rear yard.
Thank you. Any residences in your buildings, left, right, or rear?
To the left of the building, well, actually upstairs, there's a residence, and to the left, there's businesses, and to the right, there's businesses.
And what about your rear yard, the buildings backing up into your rear?
The buildings directly in our rear is a residential building.
There was a question in the chat. I just want to confirm clarity. There's been some, anyway, I'll come back to that in a second. Let me finish this up. Okay. Any operational changes other than adaptations for COVID operations since you were here in December of 2018?
No.
Or since your last approval? Any other plans other than your request for music programming? Any plans to changes?
No, it would just be the request for the music.
All right. Okay. So I was asked a question about live entertainment during COVID. I do believe it is somewhat restricted for ticketed events, but ancillary programming, I believe, is still currently allowed according to the SLA regulations, but there are social distancing regulations. I think musicians and entertainers have to be a minimum of 12 feet from any diners, and they too have to be socially distanced amongst themselves. So that was just a clarity that came directly to me as a question about music programming during special pandemic or special COVID operations regulations. I hope that was a little clear for that person that messaged me directly. All right, so at this point, I'd like for any questions or comments from any of our community members that may be present. We lost. All right, I'm going to now open it up to any committee members that might have questions or comments to this application.
Yes, this is Saunders, Brian.
Hey, Mr. Saunders, please proceed.
Do you presently have your license is active at this present moment?
Oh no, currently our license is suspended at the moment.
Okay.
Can you explain why your license is suspended?
Sure. On August 4th, we had NYPD came into the building on August 4th. In the building, we had a family from the same building, same household, friend of the owners, and we had 10 people inside. We do realize that we made a mistake. We've been in communication with the State Liquor Authority. They did fine us $20,000, and we do take full responsibility for that. We was under the assumption that being that, the family members was from the same household, that it would have been okay, but that was definitely a mistake on our end, and we do take full responsibility for it.
Thank you for sharing in candor. Appreciate that. Mr. Saunders, does that satisfy your inquiry?
It does.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from committee members? Ms. Tyus?
Has the fine been paid?
No, ma'am, not at the moment. We're currently working on getting it paid. Things have been a bit tough for us, and we're definitely doing all we can to make sure that's taken care of as soon as possible. But we had to focus on this first.
Thank you, Ms. Tyus. Any other questions or comments?
I'm Officer Vidal from the 7th Precinct. Any questions for me in regards to the SLA and the NYPD being in the place to clarify in regards to the summons that was issued?
Sure. Would you like to offer anything?
I believe the summons was issued was for a second bar in the basement at the location.
It was issued by,
It was issued by SLA, actually.
Okay.
Noting here that we have 301 complaints for noise coming from the backyard after 10 p.m. And I'm looking here that we did have a shooting back in February 1st in front of the location.
Back when was the date of this reported shooting?
February 1st.
All right. Will the applicant please address the issues that were raised by the 77th Precinct representative?
Yeah, so I'll definitely go ahead and address. As far as the summons for the bar, yes, we did get a summons for the bar, but that wasn't the reason why the liquor license was suspended. It wasn't mentioned in the liquor license. We did get a summons for the bar from the NYPD, and the night that the NYPD did come into our establishment, the liquor authority was not present on that night, and that was on August 1st, I believe it was. I think I said August 4th first, but it was on August 1st that the NYPD came into the building, just the NYPD, not the State Liquor Authority. I believe this information was forwarded to the State Liquor Authority, and the decision at the moment was made to temporarily suspend our liquor license. As far as the 311 calls, we have been in communication with our neighbors. We have their phone numbers. They do text us whenever there's any kind of noise. Obviously, we do have people in the backyard who are still somewhat dining after 10 p.m., just finishing up their dinner, and sometimes they do talk and laugh and do get a bit loud. So I believe that's where the noise complaint comes in. Recently, we've covered, put a tarp on the backyard to actually help keep the sun and the rain out, but that has been helping to keep the noise level down as well. Also, as far as the shooting is concerned, there was a shooting in front of our establishment, and I remember speaking with the detective, and the detective specifically mentioned that it was just pure coincidence. The person that, whoever it was that was shooting at, had recently been released from jail, and this is what was told to us by the detective. When they came in, they got a call saying that there was someone that was shot that was in the hospital. They went to do their investigation. When they came back, they said it's just pure coincidence. The person that, the victim, he had just recently got out of jail. I guess someone in the neighborhood got a whiff that he was released from jail, and he just happened to be walking past our establishment at the time that the shooting happened. So this was not directly at our establishment. It was just a coincidence that the person was walking past our establishment when it happened.
Thank you for addressing those concerns. Any questions? One moment, Mr. Witherwax. Let me just see if there's any other committee or I know we were on a committee. Yeah. So Mr. Witherwax, please go ahead.
Do you have a second bar in your basement?
There is. It's not a second bar we have in the basement. It's a fashion bar. It has the logo of the business. It's not being used. It wasn't being used even when the State Liquor Authority came in and the NYPD came in. The bar wasn't being used. It's just for. It has beautiful lights. It goes with the decor. It's just for fashion.
So no drinks are prepared. No drinks are sold from behind that bar.
No, sir. Even with their pictures and everything that they took, there was no drinks being served or prepared behind that bar. There was no one behind that bar. It's literally just a show.
Is there any product at that bar?
No, there's no product at the bar.
All right. I will remind the applicant that yes, you are obligated by the SLA laws and regulations to make sure you disclose any additional service points of service, whether they be temporary points of service for seasonal or private parties, or in rear yards for outdoor service, but you are obligated to disclose additional service points.
Yes, Mr. Ellis, we did have that conversation with the State Liquor Authority when they came in, and our lawyer is actually in the process of working and getting those taken care of at the moment.
Do you have intentions on adding that fashion bar to your service plan?
We do have to get all the paperwork done first, and yes, so eventually we will want to add that area as a part of the building.
Okay. As a reminder to you, as you go through that process, you will be asked and obligated to present any changes to your operations to this committee anytime that you're ready to make those moves.
Yes, that was definitely explained to us as well, and we most certainly will.
Thank you very much.
Again, that wouldn't be anytime soon. It would definitely be after post-COVID.
Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments from our committee members?
Yes, Ms. Collins.
Ms. Collins, please go ahead.
The summons then was given to you even though there was no evidence of service at that bar in the basement?
Yes, ma'am. So again, the bar wasn't operational. There was no one behind the bar. The lights were on, and there were people in the building. So that was the reason why the summons was given. When the NYPD came in, they didn't find any evidence. What the gentleman told us was that he definitely have to give us something, and this is, verbatim. He has to give us something. So what he gave us was the bar downstairs. So everything else that was on the suspension was never discussed with us in the building when NYPD was there. It was just the bar. So it came as a surprise on August 4th when we received a suspension for everything else.
So his comment was he had to give you something even if it wasn't warranted? That's so unfair.
Again, the only thing that was told to us was that he has to give us something. That was the only comment that was made, and that's when we got the summons for the bar, for the second bar downstairs, which again was never operational.
Thank you.
Any other questions from committee members? All right. I would, if there are no other questions, I will ask any of our committee members to make a motion or begin a discussion around a motion.
I say a motion to support it, and let's go on. With restrictions that they provide the necessary paperwork in a timely manner before the next meeting.
All right, there's a motion made by Mr. Thurton. Does anybody care to make a second or any other comments? Hi, Ms. Young.
Yeah, couple of questions. First of all, I know he was going to be working on his application? Did he complete it and get that in? Yeah, did that come through, Mr. Ellis?
I haven't seen anything in my inbox yet. We also we preemptively said, let's go through this orally.
Okay.
Under the understanding that he would send an updated and thorough written application once we move through this.
Okay. The other question I have is related to the fine. Oh, you wanted to answer? I'm sorry. Did you want to respond to my question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ms. Young. No, I was just simply saying that I will have the application completed tonight and sent over to the community board.
Okay, fine. Okay. Well, okay. All right. That's a separate sidebar. With respect to the fine, I know it's a hefty fine. What are you working on and how do you plan to satisfy that?
We're definitely working on putting some money together from operations, but at the same time, we are, reaching out to, family members and putting together every resource that we can to get this taken care of as soon as possible so we could get back to somewhat normal operation.
Okay. Okay. I'm struggling with this because I certainly understand that things happened and I'm not making any judgment about what occurred at your establishment. And I want to be supportive. I'm just not sure what options we have this is really to the committee, to try to support him with some kind of stipulations, but I'm not so sure what they should look like. I mean, certainly adhering to the rules would be one of them. So I don't know, and I'm asking for the committee some other thoughts around what I'm trying to frame. I'd like to support the recommendation, but I also think that there needs to be some restrictions to ensure that all things are in order and that they remain in compliance.
Definitely, since we have gotten our license suspended and since opening back up for indoor dining, we have taken all the necessary precaution to make sure that we're, maintaining social distancing. We're doing everything that the governor requested of us. So, we definitely understand and we know that we made a mistake and we're doing everything in our power to definitely try to fix that. Our employees have been more than diligent in helping us to make sure that that is done as well. But yes, we do know that we made a mistake and we fully accept the mistake that we made and the penalty. And this is the reason why we've been, trying our best to make sure that this get paid as well. But it was a mistake that we made, and we're trying to do everything we can to fix that and move forward.
Okay. Well, I thank you for sharing that. So with that, now listen, I'm getting ready to support the motion on the floor. Please don't make me have to work harder and come into I have been in your establishment, so don't make me have to come in there every 2 days.
The only reason you'll be coming to our establishment, Ms. Young, is definitely to dine.
Okay.
I would like to say
make that promise to you.
Okay.
Ms. Collins, I'd like to say we don't have a second to the motion, so there's really no motion on the floor yet.
Well,
I think that was the effort of Ms. Young. She was getting some.
I know.
Didn't Debbie just say she seconded?
Hold on 1 second. I think that there was a motion made by Mr. Thurton. I think Young had some questions and she had some clarity before she offered a second. So
but I didn't hear second though.
Right. Am I correct in saying, Ms. Young, that you are willing and now ready to second Mr. Thurton's motion?
Yes, I am now willing and ready to second Mr. Thurton's motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions to this motion?
Yes. I have a question. This is Ethel Pius.
Hi, Mr. Pius, please proceed.
The question I have, I'm not clear on what happened to the fine. His license was suspended?
That's right.
And the fine is not paid.
I imagine if you want to add, sir, that you're in the midst of ameliorating that with the SLA right now and putting yourself on a payment timeline, or has your license been reinstated?
No, our license haven't been reinstated. This literally took place about 2.5 weeks ago. So we just got the necessary information and what our fines is about 2 weeks ago. So this is the reason why we're now working on getting everything paid.
So my remaining question is, should the committee support this license renewal? He would still not be able to do business until the fine is paid and the suspension is lifted.
That's correct.
I mean, we were definitely told that we wouldn't even be able to do business without a renewal. So even if we do pay the $20,000 that we, trying so hard to find, if we don't get a renewal, then that $20,000 would definitely be in vain. So we would definitely have to go through the renewal process as well. And this is the reason why I'm here today.
Isn't that putting the cart before the horse, though?
Okay, I need some clarification. So he can open as a restaurant minus alcohol, correct?
That's correct.
All right. So if that is the case, my position still remains to support the motion that was made, because how is he supposed to generate the money to pay the fine if he can't do business?
Thank you, Ms. Young. Ms.
I think we need to give him an opportunity to rectify. He's already apologized. He knows he made a mistake, and he's going to take corrective actions from what I'm hearing. So I'd like to see him have an opportunity to make the money he needs to make to pay the fine.
Thank you for that, Ms. Young. Ms. Collins, do you have a response?
No.
Are there any other questions on this motion? We do have an active motion with a second.
Mine is not I did have a question, and my hand was raised.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not able to monitor the hands. 1 second, Ms. Weatherspoon. I will get back to you, but I'm going to let Gail proceed.
Okay. Mine is not a question. I think I just like some clarity what Debbie just said and what Mr. Clapton said. He can do business. He can open as a restaurant. He just cannot sell alcohol. He wants the renewal because even if he does not have the renewal and he pays the fine, he cannot get a liquor license. So he needs the liquor license. He needs to be able to renew, even though he's not going to be selling liquor until the fine is paid. Now, is that correct?
Yes,
I'll ask the applicant to respond.
Exactly. I'm sorry, Mr. Ellis. Go ahead.
I said I was just going to ask the applicant to respond to Ms. Branch Muhammad's question.
Yes, that's definitely correct. So currently we're unable to serve alcohol, and we've just been operating as a restaurant since August 4th. Now, it's just a coincidence that this happened around the same time that our liquor license goes up for renewal. If we don't get the liquor license renewal, we'll be paying the $20,000 fine for no reason at all because we can't operate. Coming down from, our lawyer, we have to definitely take care of our renewal first and then take care of the suspension, or do both if we have the money. But we were, we wanted to make sure that this is taken care of, because if we don't get the renewal, then even if we pay the fine for the suspension, it wouldn't even be worth anything because we'll still need the renewal. So
okay,
that's kind of putting the horse above the carriage above the horse. But, we've been given a situation and we just have to do the best we can at it.
Okay, now that makes sense to me. That makes sense.
Ms. Weatherspoon, you're next.
What time frame do you have to pay off your fine?
I believe they give us 30 days after accepting.
Days of accepting what? What are you speaking of?
The fine. So whether you want to take the fine or if you want a trial.
If you don't want a trial, you have to pay your $20,000 fine in 30 days.
Yes, ma'am. I believe it's 30 days. I would have to clarify with our lawyer again, but I do believe it's 30 days.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions on this motion? Making sure that we're thinking about this motion. Just for another reminder, this motion has been made to support the application as orally presented. It has been seconded as well. And I believe as stated before we went through this process, that the applicant would submit a hard copy paperwork reflecting these responses to the board office by tomorrow. No other questions or comments? I'm going to ask Mr. Witherwax to vote on this motion.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. I would just observe that if we do them and they don't pay the fine, they're not serving. That we're not told in the SLA. So lest we think otherwise. All right, Mr. Allison. Ms. Branch Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. Ms. Janet.
No.
Mr.
I'm abstaining.
Thank you. Mr. Puka.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders.
What was that vote, Mr. Saunders? I can't hear you. Give me a...
Abstain.
Mr. Thurton.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Tyus.
Yes, reluctantly.
Thank you. Mr. Vacconi.
Abstain.
Mr. Spoon.
No.
Thank you. Mr. Witherwax, yes. Ms. Young.
Yes.
The motion passes 7 in favor, 2 opposed, 3 abstentions.
All right. Now that that has gone through, I'd like to just address the applicant from this committee and this body. I will share from my seat, and this is a personal opinion. It's disappointing to hear these incidences that have happened in your establishment. It's disappointing to hear that there was disregard for the mandated regulations due to this current business landscape. I encourage you to be more diligent and more thoughtful about your operations moving forward, keeping in mind the community that we're also all dealing with at this time in this kind of unique circumstances, and the rear yard noise levels, the appearance of disregarding state and city regulations doesn't bode well as we move forward. And as a new establishment that's already come under scrutiny, I will certainly say that you're on the radar for other agencies to continue doing enforcement checks. Sorry, 1 second. All right, as I continue past the sirens. So I just really want to enforce that, this committee and this body of community members are encouraging our restaurants and bar establishments to be successful, but only under the guise of operating under the current regulations that are allowable. So it is, again, I say from my seat, a little disappointing to hear the disregard for those enforcements and those regulations in the past. And I hope that this conversation and this experience will help you move forward in making the appropriate actions and changes in your operations to be compliant.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis, and thank you to the rest of the committee board. I do want to ensure you that everything that everyone has, said to us tonight will definitely be taken into consideration. We have definitely, as of late, changed the way we operate, and everyone understands that these are things that we definitely have to abide by, and we've been making changes. I had a meeting with all the staff 2 weeks ago, and we went through different procedures on how we'll be operating moving forward. This way, we're not putting anyone's life in jeopardy, and we're not putting our business into jeopardy. So we definitely understand.
James, I just like.
I'm sorry.
I would just like to add that I distinctly remember when they came before the board originally and asked for a liquor license, and they were given a difficult time and they had to come back. And I remember that the minister from Bedford Central came forward and spoke on their behalf. And I think that it's important that the manager, as well as the owners of the business, take this very seriously and do the right thing, because $20,000 is a lot of money to have to pay. And it's difficult enough staying in business, and having that kind of fine above your head makes it that much more difficult. So I wish you well, and understand that it wasn't easy for us, for some of us, to vote yes. But again, we wanted to see the business maintained. You have a wonderful establishment, or it looks aesthetically, it's very nice. And we hope that you do well, but you must abide by city and state rules.
Thank you for that
Thank you,
comment,
Ms.
Mr.
Gill.
Ahmed.
James, may I?
Mr. Thurton, please proceed.
From my perspective, we're definitely pushing hard for the growth of Nostrand, and for your establishment, we put emphasis that you do abide by the regulations, and whatever's needed to be done. Could you please take care of any issues that you have immediately, so that we don't have any issues on Nostrand Avenue, because we do have a ways to go, and we are looking for the growth of Nostrand, and everyone is involved. So we definitely want you to be part of it in a positive way, so that we don't in our next meeting we don't have to go through any issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Definitely.
Thurton.
Thank you, Mr. Thornton. And, I just want to, just clarify, within the past couple months, we have formed a Nostrand Restaurant and Bar Association, and this has also been helping us to making sure that, we are going over all the issues within the neighborhood that us restaurant and bars are facing, and, what we can do moving forward to, help protect ourselves, and also pooling resources together to make sure that all the businesses have the mask and, thermometers and everything that they need in order to run the business properly. So yes, we're definitely taking the proper steps to move forward. Again, we did make some, stupid mistakes in the past, but, I really don't want that to be a low-hanging fruit over our head, while we try to do better.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate your candidness in responding to these questions. It is a unique time, and your circumstances have really highlighted some of the obstacles that businesses are facing. But once again, please don't let us regret making this decision as a committee, and seeing that our trust in your application to move forward in an operational manner that is compliant. I will also remind you, as an applicant and any other applicants that are still here, that these recommendations will be presented at the full board meeting, and we'll also need the support of the full community board. That meeting will be Thursday, October 8th, which is, I believe, this week. The information for that teleconference can be obtained from the board office, and they should probably be sending you out the appropriate information to join us. It won't be a presentation of your full application. It will only be a recommendation from this committee, and we want you present to be able to answer any questions if any of the community members or any of our board members have directed for you. So thank you for calendaring that on Thursday, October 8th. Okay, I want to make sure that there is no other applicants in the room on this teleconference that we might have overlooked through the jumping around. I'm making a last call for any applicants. All right, do we want to make any motions for any outstanding renewals? Mr. Witherwax, I'll ask you.
We have 154 Utica. Right, I think that's the only one.
That's the she was joined us in the beginning and then she fell off, so I'm not sure what her plans were. Ms. Neal, did you get any follow-up communications from her on her renewal application?
No, I did not, no.
And the only other October renewal were Marina, which we took care of already, and Good Life, 706 Washington.
But they did not present, right?
I don't believe they did. And they may have done an alteration that changes their time, their license renewal time.
Our Marina did send their information sheet. It's in our records. I have not received anything from Good Life.
If they're up in October, aren't they mandated by a 30-day notification?
I've only gotten one 30-day notice of intent to apply for a liquor license right now, and it's actually for a new application. I don't have any renewals so far, but notices will have to go out shortly, though, for the November meeting.
And you said, Mr. Witherwax, Good Life was October or November?
I have them as an October renewal. Yes, but I have it as 706 Mezcal, and I'm not sure what happened with the. Remember, they changed ownership. There may have been
an extension,
a reset.
Like it might have started a clock for them.
Yeah.
706 Good Life. I think they had the 500-foot hearing less than a year ago, or just up to a year ago. I don't think they should be up for renewal yet, but. Well, I was going to say Good Life 706 Washington just had their 500-foot hearing about a year ago, but 706 Mezcal, they did sell to Good Life, but Pequeña's, if that is Ellen Fishman's place, then they did send their information sheet to us. They were on the agenda for last month.
Amarino, you mean?
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep. Thank you.
So
I don't have anything from Kenya then. No.
Just for understanding, so if they did a management change or an ownership change, and they had their review a year ago, then that would have probably started a new 2-year clock for them for renewal. Is that what we're?
That's correct. Good Life is now owned by the same people, I believe, that own Ode to Babel.
Right. It's Marva. It's Marva and Yeah.
I don't want to take up too much committee time with this, but this is very interesting. I'm on the SLA website. Their initial application for an on-premises full liquor license is still classified as pending. They've been doing month-to-month licenses for May, June, July, August, September. So I don't know why, but their current month-to-month expires on the 16th of October.
Okay. Let me see.
Ms. Neal, can we just check in with Marva and them over there to see where they're at and have them give us an update?
Sure. Our records, the last time, we sent the letter to the State Liquor Authority for their support in June 2019. The 500-foot hearing was scheduled for September, October 2019. But I will definitely send.
I think Julia is right. I think this is just a hangover from when it was the prior establishment. So they are probably on an entirely new cycle. It's weird they're not on a cycle yet. But
706 it started out as Minor Arcana, and then it was Bar 706, and then Good Life took over in 2019. They've actually had a few issues with that location, keeping a tenant in there. But I will definitely, not a problem, send Ms. Babel an email requesting.
It looks like they're on top of it if they're doing these monthly renewals, but I'm just curious why their on-premises license was filed in February of 2020, February of this year. Why it hasn't been approved yet.
Gotcha.
Okay, I will send an email, not a problem.
All right, and I just want to, I think, let me double check that Ms. Neal put into the chat the agenda for the full meeting on Thursday. Just as a reminder of what we're going to be covering, we are going to be reviewing our budget, our capital and expense budget request for fiscal year 22. So your participation is requested, as well as all applicants are expected to be there to review this committee's work today. I do see, and I want to just, not to put anybody on the spot, but Mr. Kearney, I see you have a title after your name. Are you here with another applicant, or are you a community member of CB8?
Thank you for speaking with me. I'm actually here just listening to the community. I'm a former prosecutor with the SLA, so I'm opening a full service law firm, and I'm just trying to hear the issues and get to see the actual participants in all of the communities. Oh,
great. Thank you. Again, my apologies for putting you on the spot, but with was making sure that we weren't overlooking a representative from a business that we were unable to hear from today. So I wanted to make sure. And since you're one of the few that decided to be on camera the whole time, it also highlighted your presence. So
thank you again for speaking to me.
Great. At this point, I want to ask from any committee members or community members if there's any questions or comments or any concerns they'd like to raise in this forum before we adjourn.
Yes, Gail, did we share about the N bar and for Saturday?
Go right ahead. Yes, we did the last meeting, but please, Debbie.
Oh, okay.
Provide additional information.
Okay, just so everyone will know, this Saturday from 12 to 6, Crown Heights North Association is introducing N-Bar. And we have a series, we're having an opening ceremony, which is going to be at 706 Nostrand at 12 noon. We have 3 establishments along Nostrand Avenue that will be doing music. So from 12 to 2, there'll be music at 706. At 2 to 4, Bluefin will be having live music. And from 4 to 6, Sweet Bar. I think Sweet Bar is going to
Sweet Brooklyn.
Sweet Brooklyn Bar, sorry, is going to be having music. They are also offering a 10% discount at establishing businesses along the Nostrand corridor. So we ask people, to spread the word and please come out and join us as we try to, introduce Nostrand Avenue and get people to come out and frequent the establishments. Thank you. Anybody want to add anything, Gail? Did I forget anything?
Yes, and besides bars and restaurants, there's also other merchants on Nostrand Avenue, and it's from Atlantic Avenue into Eastern Parkway.
Is Deborah?
And thanks for sharing that. It's very exciting to see Nostrand Avenue merchants rising up and trying to coalesce as a singular voice and advocacy for their needs as business operators. So please, if you're available and able to, swing by Nostrand Avenue. If you haven't been on Nostrand Avenue in a while, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised about the rise in activity and vitality there. And so encourage you guys to check out some of the new establishments along that corridor in our district. Any other questions or comments from community members or committee members before we adjourn? I see that Berkey came on camera. I assume that you have something you'd like to add.
I do. Hi, my name's Rachel. I'm a member of the community, and I just wanted to join you all tonight to express my support for Miss Vivian, who was we think my community members and I all think rudely kicked off of Vanderbilt after she did a lovely job of serving jerk chicken and fried fish on Saturday. We heard through the grapevine that it was because a quote unquote restaurant group complained about her. And it just feels incredibly uncommunity-like that someone who's been known to the community for so long would be so rudely booted off the street when so many other establishments are, there's live music on Vanderbilt all the time. And I've had lovely interactions with members.
Can I interrupt you for a second? This individual was selling food, was transacting food out on the streets?
Yes, Miss Vivian. She does jerk chicken. She has the licenses for everything, but she's not a brick and mortar.
Okay.
And that is apparently what the big complaint was. And
I'm sorry to be the bearer of this news, but in these circumstances of the open streets restaurants, there's very much a very deep level of prescriptions on what's allowed and what's not allowed. And it sounds like this might have been a violation of that permitting process, as unfortunate as it is. And I understand your point and what you're saying about this longstanding community member, but I just want to make sure that we understand that there might have been a violation of rules because of open sales of restaurants due to this permit. I will ask if he's available and interested to say anything, Mr. Vicconi, who's part of the Prospect Heights NDC, that's one of the sponsor organizations for the open restaurants.
Sure. Yeah, it's true. There are very specific rules about what's permitted during open streets restaurants.
Guy brought all the material to.
Sorry, Miss Young, can you mute yourself? Thank you.
The real issue here is, although the street is closed to traffic, all of the other laws of New York City are still in effect. It's illegal in New York City to have an open fire in the street. selling food in the street requires a vendor permit for the street. And the problem that we have, first of all, let me just say, for those of you who haven't had a chance to visit Open Streets restaurants on Vanderbilt Avenue, it's been tremendously successful for the businesses there now. We began this because we were interested in trying to keep as many of those businesses afloat through the pandemic as possible. And it's working. Now we're coming down to the end of it. I mean, the mayor has announced that it will be permanent, but from a practical point of view, there aren't that many more weekends we can run this. And one of the real problems we have is that people see an open street and see, wow, this is great. This looks like it's something for me. I can come and I can play my music. I can come and sell some food. I can sell something else. The simple fact is those things are not permitted, and for people to come and take them on themselves to do them really risks our being able to manage the event. This event is managed with no budget whatsoever. We have 33 volunteers that marshal it during the weekend, and they're not in a position to be able to mediate among all the people who decide that they'd rather run their own program during the event. We just can't accommodate it. We risk being shut down by the city. And that would be a result that would be very, very damaging to our restaurants. So I'm sorry, I did speak to Miss Vivian on Sunday. I asked the folks at Foodtown to give her my phone number, and she called me, and I did speak to her about this. And I also put her in touch with a small business advocacy group at Impact Brooklyn to try to help her get grants for her own business. But unfortunately, when selling food, anyone else can look at that and point to it and say, then it's okay for me too. And the minute we have a half a dozen open fires going on the avenue with people selling their own barbecue, we don't have an event anymore. So I'm sorry that your perception was that it was uncommunity-like, but really what community is, in this case, is understanding the purpose of the event and why it was organized and who it has to support. And if it can't, if people want to do things that run counter to that purpose, we have to ask them to stop. We just don't have a choice. And I'm sorry about it, but that's how it is. We do have people who do things that are non-compliant. We try our best to keep them in line. It's not an easy job. And the fact that people are doing things that are non-compliant from time to time does not mean that anyone gets to write their own ticket. That is not community. Let me tell you that right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vicconi. And Ms. Berkey, thank you for expressing your concern and bringing that to our attention. Unfortunately, the circumstances being what they are with the permitting process preclude that type of activity from happening in that area.
Totally understand that. It really, I'm concerned as a community member that, you know, I've been participating in Open Streets as a guest the whole time. It's been wonderful. Like, it's really been wonderful to see the restaurants be able to stay open and expand how much seating they have, etc. I'm concerned, aside from the fact that we all love Miss Vivian, the fact that what we heard on Sunday through the, you know, neighborhood rumor mill was that the community board went to Miss Vivian and said, well, the guys behind Olmsted called you in. And
that's not what happened. Just understand that it's absolutely not what happened.
Let me finish. What I'm saying is that it created this like rumor mill thing where suddenly people were, excuse my language, complaining, bitching and moaning about the gentrifying restaurants in Prospect Heights. And it just creates a lot of animosity amongst community members that I think the Open Streets, like, we're all trying to avoid. Like, that is, we want to support all these local communities. And I don't know if it's that more people need, I honestly only knew that the community board was behind Open Streets because
let me clarify. The community board, one second, the community board is not involved with any of the permitting of Open Streets on any of the districts doing that. It is something that is done by local neighborhood groups and those like local, excuse me. Hi, Cheryl. One second. That's okay. Give me 1 second. We'll circle back to you. I just want to clarify the community board is not the agency or the group that has applied for these open streets. These are done by local neighborhood groups under the auspice of a volunteerism. I need someone to mute their, Cheryl, can you mute your phone, please? Or your video? Thank you. Yes. And so that's one thing. So, oh, there, you're muted.
I think it's the person on whose number begins with 2012 that's talking.
Oh, that's Mr. Puka. Can you mute, please? Thank you. So that's an unfortunate circumstances that the misunderstanding is that. And I would hope that you would take this newfound information and share back to any of those concerned parties that it is not the community board that applied for the open streets, nor was it the community board that had an issue or any violations with Ms. Vivian. Obviously, there's extenuating circumstances, and in the cases Mr. Vicconi explained, this was a permitting process, and it's about being compliant with the current permits to allow for Open Streets Restaurant to activate on Vanderbilt. And it's unfortunate circumstances, and I hope that with you and your micro community that you've discussed this with, you let them know that it wasn't the Community Board 8 or any members of that Community Board 8 representing the board, and that it is an application separate from the Community Board's actions and activities. I'll have to let Mr. Vicconi's word be the one for saying who reported who and where the issue was raised from. I'm not certain.
Well, I'll tell you exactly where it came from. We have volunteer marshals that patrol the streets, and they saw this and said, "Hey, we've got somebody running an open barbecue on Vanderbilt Avenue. What do we do?" And what had happened there was that the folks at Food Town, who we love and who do great things in the community, were approached by Miss Vivian and asked if she could come out and run a barbecue on Vanderbilt Avenue. They thought it'd be a great idea. And we had to explain to them, it's not such a great idea. It's going to really, it's illegal, and it's going to potentially be a problem for us. We can't allow her to continue. And so that is exactly what happened. I can tell you, I personally had several phone calls with the Food Town folks on Saturday. And again, I think if you look at it from the point of view of what it would mean if we just let people cook their, build a barbecue on Vanderbilt Avenue, we would have a manageable situation very quickly. We're already, we have a couple other issues we're dealing with there right now. And the number one thing that we're trying to be able to do is to resolve these things so people understand what the purpose of the event is. We do not want to involve police in anything that happens on Vanderbilt Avenue. We're dependent on people showing their goodwill towards the businesses of our community and not trying to take it away from themselves for some other purpose, however noble. That's just the way we have to run it. And if you want somebody to throw under the bus, I'll send you my phone number. You can have anybody call me you want.
May I ask a question of Ms. Berkey?
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Collins.
Hi, Ms. Berkey. Can you tell us where is Ms. Vivian still selling her fish, and do you know where?
She usually she does the drinks in the park and that kind of thing. She's a caterer in the community. She doesn't have a brick and mortar.
Right, she's usually in Prospect Park?
Yes.
Do you know her part?
I don't. I haven't run into her. My friends have.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I need to bring us back since Miss Cheryl Smith has joined us from Cheryl's Global Soul. It looks like she's having some video issues, but Miss Cheryl, if you want to unmute, I just want to kind of bring you up to speed on what went down while with your application. Are you able to hear us and communicate? I don't know. It looks like she might have. So I think Miss Cheryl Smith is going to be able to hear us, but just I'll just let the community board office inform you of what went down here today. I think there was an email sent to you to update if you'd like to update hours of operation. Ms. Collins, can you mute, please? Sorry. So if you can hear us, Ms. Smith, just check in with the Community Board 8 office for the updates on your renewal application that was approved by this body this evening and will be submitted to the full board on Thursday. At this point, if there's no other any new business or old business, I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I appreciate everybody's due diligence and reviewing these applications. I also want to express my thanks to all the applicants. that are continuing to invest during this kind of this questionable period in business, in Committee Board 8. And if there's nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oops, yeah.
All right. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you Thursday night on the full board meeting. Please review the capital budget stuff in advance because we won't be doing that on the teleconference. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good evening.